This is NBC Palm Springs.
There are some things in life that don't take a holiday, including making the connection with a nonverbal child. According to our guest, Susan Berkowitz, summer is an ideal time to communicate while still having fun. It's good to have you back with us.
Thank you.
I want to find out, first of all, you've written a book about Make the Connection. How did you become so interested in helping people who may have someone in their family with autism or a nonverbal child?
Well, when I was in junior high, a few years ago, I saw a documentary on television about kids with autism. Back then, nobody knew much about it. Most people had never heard of it. And also back then, mothers were blamed. It was still called childhood schizophrenia back then, and it was thought to be caused by refrigerator mothers.
What does that mean?
Yeah, mothers who were cold and didn't allow their children to bond with them and connect with them.
Really?
Yeah, and mothers felt horrible. You know, it's not bad enough you already have guilt with a child with a disability whose behavior is strange and nobody knows much about it and you don't know what to do, and now you've got all of this guilt dumped on you as well. Fortunately, that has changed. We're much more aware and knowledgeable. It's no longer considered strictly a mental illness. We went through lots of stages along the way. And I got involved working with kids with autism when I was in college, and was just really interested in what I was doing was teaching them to communicate.
And to bring it, you know, up to today, and you've written a book called Making the Connection. It's a practical guide for parents, you know, for teaching, you know, your child, because the parent really has to be very involved in this.
Absolutely.
And when it comes to a nonverbal child, what are the numbers when it comes to that?
Our current statistics say that 1 in 59 children or fewer diagnosed with autism, and anywhere between 25 and 40% of those are nonverbal, or at least functionally nonverbal. Some kids have a few words, but certainly not enough to meet their communication needs.
So what are some things that parents can do, because they are the ones that really need to communicate with the child? What are some of the things they can do that actually can make it entertaining and fun?
Well, parents need to know that they are their child's best teacher. And they do so much all the time without even realizing it. But building language is fun. Follow your child's lead. Do what they like to do. Play with what they like to play with. I always say, you know, summertime is beach time, and you can work on your picture communication using verbs like dig, or concepts like in and out. And the sand goes in or out. So building your sand castles, you take your handy-dandy little picture communication board with you to the beach.
And these are all online.
These are all online. They're easy to get a subscription to. They're inexpensive for parents to access, and we work by modeling. So while you're playing with the child, you just point to the pictures, you say the words, and you're building language, and that's all it takes. Routine activities throughout the day, whether it's helping your child brush their teeth or get dressed. There's all that language that you can build. So there's a lot.
And where does sign language come into this?
Well, back in the 60s, when there were no pictures, we didn't know a lot, but we did discover that kids with autism could learn signs better than they could learn to speak. There was something about the motor aspect of moving your hands that's easier than moving your mouth and articulators. And so for many years, that's what there was. And we taught signs, and we didn't teach sign language because there's a whole language to American Sign Language, but we taught individual signs, and kids could be successful, and they could tell us what they wanted or how they were feeling with signs. And a lot of those inappropriate behaviors that we don't want to see went down as soon as the children could communicate.
So we are gaining progress in this area.
Absolutely. Since the 80s, we've had picture symbols, and they're universally used. People have access to them. The schools all use them, and so it's wonderful, and it's a chance for parents to get in and know what to do with the child.
And where do parents go to try to find out more information and for them to become the teacher?
Well, things like my book help, I hope, and there are lots of online resources. There are chapters of the American Autism Association all over the country, and many other foundations. Here in California, Regional Center is in every county. They're a great resource, so there are places.
Susan, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being back with us.
Thanks for having me.
We'll take a break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.